This video explains the startup procedure of our Omnitech CNC router. First thing we want to do is we want to walk around to the back side of the machine over by the electrical panels here. There's a large disconnect switch labeled CNC. First thing we need to do is engage the power. Once that is done, we can walk back over, and right here behind this acrylic door is the front end PC. This is your interface between the controller on the CNC and the operator. Come in, push the on button, the light comes on, we're good to go. Next thing we'll want to do is we'll want to walk over to our air supply, which at the end of the day we turn off. That's this little valve here, and then just slowly bring the air into the machine. At this point we're going to wait until our Windows screen is fully opened, and then we can go ahead and engage the NC controller. There will be a series of clunks and sound of air coming on as it goes through its startup procedure. Now that we're in Windows, we can come over to our control panel here, and we see NC on, the green button here. We want to turn that on. The next part of this takes a minute or two just to bring it up. At this point what it's doing is it's starting up the NC controller, which is stored underneath this machine in this large cabinet drawer. There's one of the clunks I was speaking of. And we can see here, and now we've come up to our NC screen. So always in the morning we can see all these X, Y, and Z. All those have to be lit up before we can start using the CNC. We've got to reference the machine. Right now it thinks it's at 0, 0, 0. That's the X, Y, Z, and A axes. Y and A are the two servo drives on the length of the machine. Actually what a machine is at 37.7 and 120 inches. So basically we got to get the absolute to match the machine settings. So the way we do that is we reference it. On this dial knob here, we're going to take it, we're going to turn it to reference. We like to start with the Z axis on our hand controller, so if the bit is down we don't drag it along the scoreboard or break it. The next thing we're going to want to do is just jog down that Z axis a little bit, and then we want to bring it back up. And we can see here where it's counting off, it's coming up. As it hits 0, our indexing pins are going to pop up. You'll also notice that our Z axis indicator light is on. That means it's referenced. Then we're going to repeat and go through the same process with our other two axes. So we're going to go minus. We're going to bring this head down. You can see on the machine where you can see the plus and minus on the two axes. Right now we're doing Y minus. It won't fly off the end. I know it moves fast for a minute, but at the very last part of it, we're moving at 9.75 inches a minute. And we can see where our absolute and our machine are not in sync right now. And as we come down, we're counting down to 0 on the machine location. Now it's zeroed out. And we're going to go over here and we can see that our Y axis is indeed referenced. Lastly, we're going to go to our X axis, switch our indicator over to X, minus because we want to come towards us. It flies over here until it gets to the last little bit. And again, you can see it counting down. The machine location is 2.2 inches right about now. It's a slow procedure. And we can see we're winding down to 0, and then we're going to zero out our absolute location here. There. Now we're 0, 0, 0, X, Y, Z, and A. All of our indicator lights are on. We're referenced. Next thing we're going to do is jog it out of the way. The only axis that stays in reference after we initially do this in the morning, we only have to do this on startup. We don't have to do it every time we move it. The only one that stays referenced is our Z. I'm going to now come over and I'm going to jog the machine out of our way so we can load panels onto it. So I'll put it there. We know we're going to want to go plus, which is away from us. We're going to move the head away. And then we're going to move it down to the other end of the machine so that I can load panels onto my reference bins. I'm going to slide down there. We can also see we're counting off like 120 inches. It's a 10-foot bed, so you're about as far as you can go. I think you can get 121, 122 inches out of this. And that's the process of starting the machine, referencing it, and parking it out of the way, getting it ready to load in the morning.